All right, should I hum? Should I sing? What would you like? A little poetry? Greetings, everyone. I like to start on time. Let's see here. Turn my headphones up a little bit. Just a little bit. All right. Lord, so many servers, I tell you. I can't keep up with this, even if I wanted to. Too many. What can I do? Well, hopefully the word get out. I can't do no more. I just got too many things over here. But anyway, it's interesting being on this side, as they say. Let me start off with my introduction. My introduction is greetings, everyone. I want to thank you guys for coming out. I'll go ahead and get started and wait for as the people show up or not. I'll get on with my stories. Got a couple of topics I throw out there, and it'll be interesting to see what you all say about it. Stuff that's been in the news. First thing I'm going to mention is that Jesse Smollett. That's the Subway guy. He's the new face of Subway. Let's put it that way. He's the new face of Subway. I'll put it that way. The story goes, a federal judge on Tuesday refused to dismiss Chicago's lawsuit against Jesse Smollett. The lawsuit from Chicago seeks to recoup $130,000 that city officials say the police department spent investigating Smollett's claim that he was a victim of a racist and homophobic attack in January. His attorneys argue that he shouldn't be required to reimburse the police department because he couldn't have known how much time and money would be spent investigating his allegations. Now, I'm going to tell you, I researched this story and it was always written like that. They quoted the lawyer saying that. And what that's telling me is he didn't know how much the lie was going to cost. So because he wasn't quite sure how much the lie that he told was going to cost, he should not pay. What sense does that make? Absolutely none at all. But that's what his attorney said. Now they went to law school and they passed the bar exam, spent a lot of money too. And that was the best that they can come up with. That sounds like something a child would say. Well, I didn't know how much the lie was going to cost me, but, so I shouldn't have to do the punishment. What sense does that make? I asked again. Absolutely none. So let's move on. What we got here. Police conducted an exhaustive investigation that included nearly 1,900 hours of overtime. Key word is overtime. Now, everyone knows what overtime is. Overtime isn't regular time, it's time and a half or double time. In some states, it's double time on Sundays. Don't know about your state, but sometimes it depends on the job. It could be double time, or sometimes it's just holidays. They'll give you double time. Which, in every way, doesn't matter. For days, detectives scoured the neighborhoods for witnesses, analyzed dozens of videos from surveillance cameras on the street, buildings, and taxicabs, interviewed store owners in search of who might have sold the suspect the rope. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of time. That's a lot of effort. So I don't know what's going on here, but even if it was less than that, they said 1900 hours. Let's say if it was just 900 hours. You mean to tell me that because of your lie, it should be a zero bill? Oh no, you must pay. Oh, you must pay. And this city doesn't have much money or it has a lot of debt. Let's put it that way. And because of the debt that it has, we can't just let that bill go. Jussie should pay. That's the bottom line. I don't know what's going on with these folks committing these crimes, and you're lying. That's a crime in itself. So come on. You need to pay. Pay Chicago their money. And I'll continue. In March, Cook County State's Attorney Kim Foxx office announced a decision to drop the 16 felony counts related to making a false report. So, what does that mean? That means that she knows it's a false report. She decided to discount it. And I'm going to tell you that number 16 is significant. I know wherever you live, you've heard of 16 shots in a cover up. Have you not? I'm sure you have. So we have that as a cover up, and we were outraged in Chicago about that because that was a young man. I don't care if he was an old man. He had a knife. He was far away, and this dude, 16 shots, and he used uh, I fear for my life. Come on. So we're pissed about the number 16. So, we really feel some kind of way about that. And even the mayor and the superintendent of the police, they were outraged. Now, the mayor at the time was Rahm Emanuel, and he's always trying to get some money from the city for the city. That's one thing I can say about him when he was our mayor. He was trying to get some money for the city. By hook or by crook, he was trying to get it. So that's one thing about him. He wasn't playing when it came to that. Now, I'm going to share something with you, and you got to give me, I'm not real quick on the draw, but hey, give me a little time. I'll do what I can. I want to share this with you. I think you'll like it. It's necessary. So let's see. We're going to share screen. Boop. And then we're going to do application window. Nope. Chrome tab. Okay, so I was wrong. And actually, I'm still wrong because that's darn. Ooh, you know what? I can't do it that way because I really need to go into the application window or the Chrome tab. But while I do that, I will add the lovely Ruby, everyone. Welcome.
Thank you for having me. Good evening, Shar. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening. How
It
are
is
you today?
lovely to be here. Lovely to be here. I cannot wait to see what you have cooked up for us this evening. It is always a pleasure, always thrilling. So I want to see what it is that you're about to show us all. Mhm.
No problem. I hope I'm able to get the email in order to share it. But in the meantime, in between time, you can give your thoughts on what I've read so far.
In all fairness, I missed half of this story
No
because
problem.
I couldn't I was trying to get my headphones, and then once I did, then I had to open stream. It was a thing. Yeah.
Hey,
It was a whole thing.
we only have two hands, so, multitasking. like I always say, two things I can do pretty well at the same time. You start adding three and four, hey, something gonna get missed. But at
Mm-hmm.
least I'm honest about it.
Always, always, right? Exactly. Right? Hey, some people would try to start fronting, right? Start just making
Right.
stuff up to talk about. I'm just gonna tell you, it's just real. Y'all know I was here earlier. I said what's up. What happened between point A and point B? I just told you. Right? It's my bad.
That's
Apparently,
right.
I can't work headphones, a phone, and listen to a stream simultaneously. It's beyond me. It's beyond me. So,
Right. And something going on with my computer. I'm typing. Sometimes it's just so slow. I don't know what's going on. But welcome to everyone that came in. Hope Sorry I missed you. Hope you're having a good day. And I'm going to recap. So if you missed it, you'll be able to hear it as well. I was stating that on Tuesday, the judge that is over the lawsuit against Jesse Smollett, which is now the face of Subway, he had lied about the homophobic and
wait,
racist attack in January.
Jussie
Go ahead.
Smollett
Uh huh.
is now the face of Subway.
Well, it's a joke. What I'm saying,
Oh,
when you see him, you think of Subway now. You don't think of
oh,
Jared anymore. You think of him
okay,
because
got it.
he
I was
wanted to
like,
go out in he wanted to go out in January when it's sub below zero
mm,
to get a
mm,
sandwich. We
mm.
got
Okay.
DoorDash, we got Grubhub, and there's some more delivery services out there. And he wants to go out and get a sandwich. A sandwich now.
Mm. Right? It's so true. It's so true. Okay.
Yeah. And
I got it.
they, okay, you got it. So the judge is saying, no, 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 we're going to go forward with this lawsuit. So the $130,000 that the city is charging against him, they want that back. They want to recoup that money.
Mm,
So that's what I mentioned. Then I went into a few other details that it was 1,900 hours of overtime. So we don't even know how much time, as far as hours they put in regular time, but
right.
1,900 hours of overtime. And they spent so many days and used all these detectives to go through the neighborhoods, witnesses, analyze tapes, videos, surveillance cameras, everything to try to find this invisible or these invisible people that he was talking about. So
Mm-hmm.
that's what I mentioned. And so if you can go ahead and go on that, and I'll do what I'm doing over here.
Okay. Well, to be honest with you, I don't think that is near high enough. The amount of money that they fine us regular people for doing far less than he did. I don't think it would be justice at all. I mean, man, they're willing to take like 3 to 6 months worth of your entire paycheck for different fines that they give us regular schmegular people. Ooh, look at me sounding like lovely tea with my regular schmegular. Anyway, people, um, but this man, who, by all accounts, he had everything. I mean, his role on Empire was, if anything, it's amping up. It's interesting. It seems like he's got some creative control there. He already was, such a dynamic person within the gay community. I will say also though that the black community was low key accepting him, and we don't really do that with a whole lot of gay people. So
True.
to me, he had beyond everything. He had beyond everything, but it wasn't enough attention. He wasn't special enough. And because he wasn't special enough, what he did was he took the very real threat and issue that is happening in society today, the very real pain and suffering that far too many people are going through. That, when people's children are all actually being lynched from tables and crazy things today, not 100 years ago, and he wants to bring it back and remind people, no, this is really happening today. And he's going to orchestrate that this happened to him so he can be special. And I mean, thank God he's a terrible liar. Thank God right, like, thank God he's a narcissist, because narcissists only pay attention to themselves. See, if he was a normal person, he might have watched anyone else's stories, the real ones that happened, and he would have recognized the details he was putting into his little narrative were starting to make it sound inauthentic. Maybe, I don't know, but I'm happy he got caught, because I don't think there's a community that he's even in a loose way associated with that isn't disgusted by what he did, isn't disgusted by all he basically took for granted and didn't appreciate, and isn't
Mhm.
disgusted by how far he set back so much. For the gay community, certainly I know feels that way, and the Black community, and then the Black gay community, goddamn. But I will say that at the end of the day, he deserves justice. Is not paying the police back. I mean, sure, you pay the police back, you pay back everybody. Cool. That, what is
Yeah.
that? A dent in his spending money for next year? Like, yeah, sure, fine. He's probably not going to make, any more of this money anytime soon, but I don't care. It doesn't matter to me. Regular people are losing their jobs for, again, doing far less. Some white chick makes a racist comment on Facebook and she loses her job. No one cares that she doesn't, she's not sitting on millions. No one cares that she only makes $30,000 a year and has 3 kids at home, and now they're all going to starve and be homeless. No one cares about that. But so, you know what I mean? And that person wasn't even proven to technically anything. No one went and said, "Oh, let's make sure that someone didn't break into her Facebook account," or no one tried to prove anything. In those cases, but she lost all of her income and all of her well-being and all of her associations with people and all of that stuff. She lost it anyway, and that happened more than once. So if those people, real people, can be damaged that badly, then the fact that he just lost his you know acting gig, and now he's gonna throw some chump change, which chump change to him back, not enough. I think he should be required um,
Mhm.
to pay that back. I don't think he should have to give the city more. Not that. I think he needs to pay to certain charities that are associated with the groups that he has damaged and set back. I think he needs to pay them um, a, a, a good chunk of change each. And then I also think that he should be required to do a lot of hours of community service in actually having to speak to victims of
Mhm.
violent crime. And he
Okay.
has to work with and speak to victims of violent crimes in whatever ways that um, basically rehabilitation, whatever it is, right? He's gonna, and I don't mean he's gonna go and be a star to them. I mean, like, as in he's got to go be a grunt in these associations that help people. Because I think that, like a lot of people in his generation, he takes everything for granted. He doesn't take anything seriously. His
Mm.
development has been delayed because 40 is the new 20. Right, and so he hasn't grown up. He hasn't gotten to that place that most teenagers grow out of by the time they hit 20, where you realize that bad things really do happen to good people, that you're not immortal. Terrible things could happen to you, and if they don't, you're very lucky. And that these are not things that you play with, and he hasn't learned that. And when you're that entitled, and that spoiled by the world as a gay Black man, that you have this kind of free time on your hands and this is what you want to do with it, I think you need to be thrust into the real world. uh, and it needs
Thrust.
to be thrust. Yeah, really, really, right? Like you don't get, like, it's like a slow thing. Like you went from being an actor and they bring you your latte and whatever, and I want you to have to wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning and take a subway because you can't afford nothing subway again. Because you can't afford nothing else. And I want them, now you have to go and get down to these places, and for 10 grueling hours a day you have to serve real people who are really suffering and have really suffered and really been unfairly attacked, really been gone through these terrible things. Because for him to say that he did it for anyone other than himself and his own self-aggrandizement is ridiculous. But I think that he would learn really hard and fast, because he would lose his fortune to these things, and then despite being probably angry about that and whatever, you're gonna have to go and do it anyway. And it would be a process. It would be a process of him having to show up and whatever. He'd be angry at first and whatever, but I think by the end of it, he would be sickened with himself. And like I said, it has to be significant. It has to be so many community service hours that, like, for 6 months to a year, if he's not working this full time, at least 5 days a week, he will never finish. And if he doesn't finish the hours and there are no shortcuts, he will go to jail. That's what I would do. That's what I would
Mm.
do. Hmm.
Well, take a look at the screen. And
Okay.
what happened was I was on my way home from work and it was so cold. I mean, it was cold. It was a mess. I was so cold that I decided once I finally got on the train to sit down, I took a picture because I wanted to see if there was frost on me. Was everything, everything still working? I was curious. It was that cold. I kid you
Mhm.
not. And
Mhm.
they had actually closed the schools. They even said if you don't have to go to work, we advise do not go out there. I had to
Wow.
go. And I had a hat on. I had a jacket with a hood. And then I had my coat with the hood. So I got three things going on. I had uh, my scarf is very long. I had it wrapped all the way around me. I mean, I'm in full gear. I had on something up
Mhm.
under my pants. I was layered up. I think I had maybe three things on: tights, uh, long underwear, or whatever you want to call them today, cuddle duds, whatever, and
Mhm.
pants. I was ready. And I still was cold. And I was only out there for 5 minutes. That's it.
Wow.
5 minutes. It was that cold. And if
Wow.
I'm freezing and I'm prepared, how in the world you want me to expect that two men carrying rope, bleach out? What time was? I don't remember the time, but anything after the sun goes down is colder, and they're
Yes.
out there walking around looking for someone, and they recognize you. Now look how I'm bundled up. You mean to tell me the guy went out there, Jesse Smollett went out there with, you could see his full frame, everything, and you can recognize, oh, that's like Jesse. Come
Right?
on now.
It's so
You
true.
want me to believe that? And
It's
then the
so
other thing,
true.
another thing I wanted to mention is that his attorney said that he should not have to pay the money back because there's no way he could have. Let's see, get the words right. The police department, because he could not have known how much time and money would be spent investigating his allegations. What kind
Seriously?
of mess is that? So you're saying,
Seriously?
well, we're not sure about your record keeping, so we're going to throw this all out. How about that? Would you do
Right.
that for me, Judge? And the judge like, no. Now, as
Mm,
far as the money being paid back in Chicago, we need some money. We broke. We ain't got nothing over here. So it is a good thing that they're charging him for that manpower that they use. So I would say that. But I
mhm.
love your idea of him working and volunteering and sweating and slaving. That's wonderful. Great punishment. But we wish
Right.
that could happen.
I mean, has the man had a job ever? Because like I'm not sure, and honestly, it just so happens, obviously we have a lot of our people where, yeah, they absolutely did have jobs before they became rich and famous. I'm just not sure, because I'm not sure why you would blow up your life because you're that much of a narcissistic attention whore. I'm not sure how you could do this when you already have everything. People make moves like this in a desperate attempt to finally get there. He already got there. So
It
why would
wasn't
you not?
enough.
Right, right. So, I mean, I just can't. But it's so funny because I'm looking at that picture, and it reminded me. So, the way that a lot of people here, because it's freezing here too for 6 months out of the year, the way that you know how to recognize a lot of people for 6 months out of the year, even for those of us who are too cool for school through high school and don't wear things like scarves or hats because they ruin your hair or whatever, is through your
Uh-huh.
jacket. Because even with your face not obscured at all, when you've got that giant bulky jacket on and you've got the hood over, right, and you're trying to pull it down as low as possible and just everything, you're just another sea of giant coats and mittens. So you recognize people by their jacket and by the way they walk. You actually get really good at recognizing people's body postures and their gait, like the specific way that the kind of step. And so you can tell that that one chick with the red jacket on who's walking in that particular, I can tell my mother, even if she is
Hmm.
wearing a jacket I've never seen, a hat I've never seen, clothes I've never seen. I can tell it's my mother from from 100 feet away. I can tell. It's just because I've gotten so good at recognizing my mother in winter attire. I'm so serious. It happened one day. I was parked somewhere waiting for this store to open. And then while I was waiting, I got this phone call. So I was sitting there on the phone and everything. And then I looked and I'm like, is that my mom walking into the store? Like, I didn't catch her face at all. It's just the
Hmm.
way she moves. And it was a quick glimpse. And I got out of my car and I was like, Mom? And she turned around and it was her, right? I mean, like, this is
So
what
you knew
happened.
that person, though. Yeah.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. I knew I
Hmm.
had to I had to just know by the way she physically moves, because there was no way I would have seen her face. Like, she had to come
Uh-huh.
closer and be like, "Oh, look, you changed your hair." Oh, like, I couldn't tell anything about her. It was just the way she moves. So I'm thinking about it and I'm like, if I had to memorize the way people walk and move, because you can't recognize people for 6 months out of the year otherwise, I don't understand how they were walking around looking for someone that they don't know like that. Um, and what, you were just hoping that, oh, well, I'm sure you'll be entirely exposed to the elements, standing underneath a street lamp, and, just facing me while standing perfectly still so I could see you. That's unreasonable and ridiculous. Like, I'm so glad you brought up that point, because I just realized, like, oh my God, that's hilarious. It's so true. It's so true.
Yeah. It's crazy. And let's see. I had another topic. Unless you had something you want to put in, and then I'll save this for the next one. And any ladies want to join? I've been putting and I'll put it in again, the link to the show, and you can hop on. All right.
Any
And
takers? Any takers?
yeah, so I'll put that in here once again, and we'll continue talking.
Oh, well, I didn't know that I could bring homework assignments in with me. So, what I will do for next week is I will
Yeah,
bring topics, because
no
it
problem.
happens. On
No
occasion,
problem.
I might know something that happened in the news. I mean, there were a couple things that I caught glimpses of this week. But I didn't learn enough about them to even for me to be able to Google it and know what it was.
Okay.
So, but I'm gonna
Oh,
do it for next week. You just wait. I'm bringing in homework assignments. You're gonna see.
no
Hmm.
problem. What I'm starting to do is just because of the Friday show, I have to be more proactive with topics because of participation or the lack of. So I didn't want to just say, let me just go through mine without asking you because you are participating on the show. Did you
Right.
have something? So that's why I stopped to ask. But I do have a couple more things, but I just wanted to stop and ask.
Okay.
All right. Um, let's see. I'll go to. I don't have the. Let me see. Is it on here? Actually, I do have it written down, but I don't have the picture. I might can find it. I might can find it. Let me share the screen. Let me share my screen. Let me clear my throat.
Yeah.
Right.
Look,
Let
I
me
got a
clear
pop
my
culture
screen.
reference. I had got
Yeah.
one. Yeah. Right. I'm growing. Okay.
Yeah. Got it.
Mhm.
You got it.
I'm trying. I'm
Okay.
trying
Let's
here.
see what we got. That's right. Teamwork makes the dream work. All
Mhm.
right. Gentlemen, you may not be familiar, and that's okay if you're not. I found this story to be very interesting. There's been a outrage of the woman symbol on the side there of the female personals. And after 20 some years of having that, they've gone ahead to say, okay, we're going to remove it because there were people stating that they didn't think it was fair to have that on there because there are some other genders that use it and they're not considered female. Um, I found it very interesting, especially if you decide that you want to use that product and now you want to have the company to change, what they got on there, um, and no money was spent in giving the company the, a makeover or whatever, give them money in the budget to make the change, but just complain. Now, what I found very interesting also, I decided to check a box of condoms. I do not have that to share on screen. I thought I did. And I'm not even going to try to dig for time. But on the box of condoms, it mentions that, you place it on the penis.
Right.
So now I'm wondering who's going to protest to say, hey, I want this removed from these condoms because I don't identify or have a penis. So you need to remove the word penis off this box of condoms. I don't appreciate that. And I believe it
Well,
will go that far. I
no,
do.
they actually, as far as the internal um condoms or female condoms, they actually did do that. So they
See?
don't say female on the condoms that you
No,
stick
no, no.
internally. They say internal.
No, no, I'm talking about the regular kind, the Trojan, when it tells you, roll it up, put it on the penis carefully and all that. I'm saying they're going to protest and ask for the word penis to be removed from the packaging of condoms. I believe that's what's going to be next.
Hmm.
It's outrageous to say it, but I wouldn't put it past anyone because if you don't want the female symbol on there that this company has, now there's other products out there, but you targeting this product, this company, say, hey, take that off there. When you can choose not even to use it, like, hey, I don't identify, so I'm not using that product. You can go somewhere else. But no, you're going to gang up on the company. Hey, take that off of there. I don't like that. I don't identify. And that's when I think it's a little bit overboard when you try to change companies and other things to, and I don't even want to use the word fitting in, I don't like that word, to accommodate your comfort level.
Hmm.
Yes, I found that very interesting, and I just wanted to share that with the audience.
Well, I think, and I hear your point, right? I mean, I don't think because in and of itself, right, the issue is the male female thing, right? And saying that, well, all genders are using um pads or tampons or whatever the particular product is. So it's not fair to say that it's a female product when no, not just females anymore have vaginas and have periods. Okay,
Okay.
I'm not going to argue that point yet. Hold on. Um, but I'm going to say that just to make the point that if they changed it to vagina penis, see, I think that that is still you. I mean, you could be, I guess, a girl with the penis or a boy with the penis. The penis
Hmm.
is the medical, the medical terminology for this thing that you have that the condom goes on. I think that that is safe. I think it's, they're being really nitpicky with more so the whole gender thing. um and when I look at it, um I just simply think that it's to the point of when Dove or Head and Shoulders or whatever make a shampoo and they say it's for all hair types. And when, by all hair types, they mean everyone except for black girls' hair because it's not for us. Um,
Hmm.
it comes down to now, we could say, which I think is a little bit stupid. Make your for all hair types Head and Shoulders accommodate black hair too. They can't. Because fine, mousy white girl hair is just needs different things than a coarse, forcey textured hair needs. We just need different things from a shampoo. So, well, remove the words for all hair types. Well, listen, instead of doing that, um, why don't you just want something for yourself? And see, that would be more the direction I would understand if they went that direction, is to say, all right, cool. So you make pads for girls. Why don't you make pads for everyone? And then they could have a special brand box that is non-gender specific for all the other genders to feel comfortable purchasing without being put into the box of female just because they happen to have a vagina and a period.
And
I
you
don't know.
just said make, which means addition to, not
Yes,
remove somebody's symbol. They've used that
exactly.
symbol for 20 some years. This is their brand.
Exactly.
This is what they do. And again, you have the choice of not buying it,
Right.
but
And
you're going to petition, take that off. That doesn't represent everyone. Well, not
right.
everyone uses it. So you can choose not to use it. How about that? So that is what I'm just pointing out.
No, exactly. And that's where I said it again. Like, I mean,
Hmm.
there are other brands. I'm pretty sure You by Kotex doesn't have any gendered paraphernalia on it or whatever. It's cool and funky and black boxes and whatever. Maybe you don't like the fact that it has flowers on its wrappers. Hey, you know what? Listen, I don't like the color pink, but they've been putting pink on everything made for my vagina since I was born. So I have to buy it in pink anyway. It is what it is. I don't understand why it's so like. See, to me, like, dude, okay, fine. So you're a trans man, right? Whereas in the world sees you as a man, but you still have a vagina and you bleed. Pretend you're picking them up for your damn girlfriend, your wife, your mom, your sister. Who cares? Like, I don't know. To me, I don't feel like it's that serious. But if
Right.
you really feel like it's that serious, then to me, I think what you should be saying is, hey, company, if you would like to be inclusive, because you're about to lose all of our dollars, if you would like to get our dollars and even more dollars, in fact, probably because we're going to support you even more than the other companies who aren't doing this, make one for us. Make one for everyone else. You got one for the women, make one for everyone else. And then in that way, or I guess the cisgendered women, whatever. So make one for us. And then in that case, if that's, whatever company is first to market doing that, they're going to make billions anyway. And I understand, no, they will, right? And I understand saying, well, hey, we want something for us too. Kind of like how the universities, right? I mean, I think safe spaces are stupid, but forget the fact that I think safe spaces are stupid. The point is that what they can't do is make university a safe space for everybody everywhere you go. I'm sorry, they can't. But what they can do is go give you a room where you go in there are no trigger words, and no one's gonna assume your gender and all of that stuff, right? So they give you a space of your own. They don't make the university your space. They gave you a space of your own within the university that you can go retreat to and then, let your hair down. And I think that, the approach that they should be trying to take would be to do something more like that. I think it makes a little bit more sense, because no matter what happens with this company, what they're going to recognize is that the far largest majority of their customers are, in fact, women who were born with vaginas, who bleed out of their vaginas, who are happy with that whole combination. So, since that's where the majority of their money is going to come from, they're going to continue to cater to that market because
Right.
they are an intelligent company. It's about dollars and cents at the end of the day.
Yep.
Should they be smart enough to expand, just like how Shea Moisture said, hey, listen, yeah, we're going to keep doing all of our stuff for every type of black hair care, but we want to be able to go global, and globally we're going to need some products for white people and for Asian people and stuff. That's what it is. I want to go from being a multi-million-dollar company to a multi-trillion-dollar company. This is what I got to do. I got to appeal to other markets. Open up what these people are telling you is there's enough of them that there is another market out there. I would listen to the fact that there's another market out there. You know what I mean? I would want to, for me as a company, open up and start, pushing towards that other market. But what I don't think that we should do is that cisgendered women should lose their identity and their packaging and their brand recognition because that packaging and this brand in and of itself for this product specifically is not all inclusive. I think that, we should be willing as a society to allow there to be, you know, another type of tampon and another type of pad and another type of whatever. I think we should allow for that. Absolutely.
Right.
You know what I
And
mean?
they
But
and they have money too, and they can be the one to create it. Use their money to create it.
no, you know what? No, because this is what companies do all the time, Shar. They say,
Oh
oh,
yeah,
look,
they
there's a
do.
new market. We'll make a new thing. Hey, no problem. You say, listen, we need this. And you know what? Some company's going to do it. Trust me.
Oh
And I
yeah.
think that that's reasonable. I think it's a reasonable ask. I think it's a reasonable ask to say, hey, listen, you got to recognize now we're all out of the closet. There's no need to hide anymore. We're here. We're queer. Let's not even get used to it anymore. It's like party with us because
To ask,
everyone
yes. To
right?
demand, that's two different things.
No, because you know what? They're
Protest,
not
no.
even
Okay.
no, and to tell them that they have to change their packaging and to change. Listen, lose your brand recognition and stop catering to your largest demographic in order to cater to the smaller demographic. Because if we're being honest, there are a lot of women who don't want to buy gender neutral tampons. They don't. They actually like the branding that is about them being women, being strong, powerful women, being women on the go. They want their tampons to speak to them, right? This is why you buy Kotex. No, I know that sounds ridiculous, but it's true. You buy Kotex
Right.
appeals to the younger population, right? Because their commercials do, because their packaging does, because everything about it is trying to appeal to that younger generation. And they got a lock on that, right? So just like something like Always is appealing to the older generation. Right. So, we got to recognize that it's not fair to say that one demographic should no longer be marketed to. I understand you saying, hey, listen, well, it's unfair for you to ignore a big chunk of your demographic. Hey, maybe pay attention to us too. Just like when we turned around and at one point said, hey, commercials, you expect us to buy your products. And yet I haven't seen one of me inside of your commercials, I don't know, ever. So what the hell is that? Right. And so then they started putting like, 1 out of 5 is going to be black. But I mean, damn, at least we made it into a Dove commercial, right? Or, the big body, beautiful matters campaign. Right. And then, hey, but the big girls made it. Right. But my point is that, throughout the
Hmm.
time, you say, hey, listen, can you market to me too? I like to be marketed to. What's up with this? So I get that. I get
Yeah.
wanting to be marketed to when you are spending a fair chunk of your money until menopause purchasing something, right? Like I get that. I get that concept, but I
Yeah.
think that it needs to be a fair ask. It needs to be
Right.
a fair ask. And I think the fair ask is to say, hey, make another product for me too. Y'all come out with a new product every couple of years anyway. So why not just come out with a new product for me? Why not just do
That's
that?
right. I love that. That's exactly what
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying. Wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
On the
Mm-hmm.
screen, I was able to find what I was looking for. Um,
Ooh, yay. Okay.
Now this is the box of a condom, and on here for the instruction, it tells you a latex condom can reduce the risk of STD transmission to or from the head of the penis. Now, I'm telling you, I'm telling you, this is what's going to come up. Someone is going to complain about this being on the condom. And I'm like, well, see, it's not all of us have penis. I use it for my dildo, so you shouldn't put the word penis. You got to be fair, and then there'll be a protest and anger and all of that. So I was just tying that into, trying to make a company change, not in addition to, is a bit much. So that's all I wanted to share on that.
You know what? And I'm going to say there, though, in the exact same case, if they were to take away the word penis, they would be being incredibly irresponsible because, again, what they wouldn't be doing is educating/informing the large bulk of the people that they're selling these to. Now, the whole reason why these words got put on condoms to begin with is basically to tell people, hey, listen, just because you put a condom on your penis doesn't mean that it protects your balls from herpes. That's basically what they're saying in a nice way, right? Like they want you to understand it doesn't make you like, magic. It protects where it's covering. That's about it. And, the bottom of the condom, there's slippage. It slips up, it slips down, whatever. So, you're
Hmm.
basically protecting that top front edge. Now, with that being said, do people use it certainly to cover condoms? I mean, dildos and stuff like that. Absolutely. Um, you know, should we put information on it about how to what it does for dildos? Sure. Why not? But again, it needs to be in addition to because otherwise what you're
Right.
doing is you're not informing the largest bulk of the people, and honestly we know it's the massive bulk. I don't care how many people are putting it on their dildos. We know that's still only like 0.5% versus how many men are buying them condoms. um so we got to be responsible. And when it comes to something like a condom, for example, where
Mhm.
this is about your health and the information on the packaging is again about health. You know, we have to be responsible enough to recognize that, hey, you know what?
Yeah.
Fair concern that we have to recognize if we're caring about keeping everybody healthy. And it's
Right.
not
Keep
just,
them safe.
lesbians who use dildos. Straight women use dildos too, and do use condoms to cover them up and stuff like that, because it's easier than cleaning them and whatever.
Hmm.
I've actually heard some of my straight friends who've done that. So,
Hmm.
if there's actual specific information about that, um, it should be on the pack. Why not? If it's an extra line on the packaging, and
Right.
instead of a picture, you have to put that extra line of information, and it keeps people 10%, maybe 5% healthier. Why not?
Yeah,
Why
that'll
not?
be great. Just don't remove it. So
Exactly.
we'll see what
Exactly.
happens. We shall see.
hmm Well, hey, listen, I'm sure a lot of us would say that the world looks radically different than what we thought it would. Not that long ago in our life's history. And a lot of things have happened in our life's history that maybe we never could have seen coming, or we might have even said maybe when we were in school or something, that no, that definitely will never happen. There's no way, no way, no how.
Yeah, I agree. I have another story. I'm going to see if I can play, because this is from Yahoo, so it shouldn't be a issue. Because you hear so many stories, and just to describe the story, you're like, who is that? Because it happens so often when it's people of color. So I'm going to share the story where an officer went too far. Um, this couple was accused of shoplifting. They had their children with them, and the officer, he actually went too far. So I'm going to share that. And they want to mute up. I mean, this rain is getting down. It won't stop. It's been
Oh
going
no!
on for this is hour number 4 now. Cats,
Wow.
cats, and dogs. It's just been
Ugh.
pouring down. So
Well, at least it's not frozen. Like I don't know.
right,
Right? It could be snow. It could be snow.
right. That yeah, you gotta look on the bright side.
Right?
Plus,
It could be hail. It
I
could be frozen rain. It could be worse. Just barely, but
and
it
I
could
can
be worse.
yeah, and I tonight. Okay, all right. Let me play it.
Mm,
Let's see.
okay.
So you can see if you've heard this story. It's in Phoenix.
Mm, I don't think so. Let's check this out.
There's the officer arguing with the mother, and the mother is shade. Mother's the mother. Now the young man was standing there, and the officer kicked his leg. Now he's not moving or anything. And someone had taken the children from her so the officer can go ahead and do what he was doing. Okay. Um, the officer said, he would shoot you. Um, he told the mother to put her hands up. And he said, I got my kids. And he said he didn't give a beep. And they're suing. They are going to sue. I wish them the best. I have a picture of the couple here. And I'm going to try to follow up on this story because I'm curious what's going to happen, especially a young couple. And you know how it is with, unfortunately, people of color. We
Hmm
always, hear this in the news all the time, and stuff just get thrown out. But I'm hoping that this doesn't.
Right.
This is a couple in their 20s, I believe. Yeah, they're in their 20s. And she was also pregnant at the time. So she was pregnant. She had a 1 year old. So they had a car seat going on. And then I forgot how old the other child was. But that officer wasn't concerned with any of those things. Now, oh, 4 years old. So the 4 year old had the dog. And that's where the shoplifting came into play. And this couple wasn't even in the parking lot of the Family Dollar. They were down the street. They were somewhere else in a complex, a housing complex. And officers, I guess they, kind of looked around for the car or whatever, and they found like, oh, there they are, parked right there. Let's go get them. And they had all these officers pull up on them and get out the car, and all of that. Now I remember one time that in one of the suburbs they have nothing to do. So when they get a call, it's like 5 or 6 cars will go out on that call, and that's what ended up happening. It was 5 cars came out because they got in a report that someone stole some lipstick from Ulta, or is it called Ultra Beauty store. And my friend, her husband, and their neighbor, the three of them were in the car, and they had just dropped off the fourth person. And the officers surround them, and they all trying to figure out what the world, and they just sitting in the parking lot of this mall. And they were going to go to the next place or whatever, and they were just discussing where they were going to go. And they get surrounded, and the officer said, "Hey, we got a call, and your car is similar, and we thought this was the car, and sorry about that." So the neighbor asked, "You need all these people for a tube of lipstick?" And they just pretty much said, "Thank you, ma'am," and left on. But a lot of in the suburbs, they don't have much to do. So when they get a call, they're ready. They go right on out. And that was an experience that my friend had, and it wasn't uh, horrific. Guns were not drawn or anything, so that's good. But this couple here, guns were drawn on them, and from different angles. And again, they were not even at the store. Um, Now, as far as the child having the doll, they have not said that in the report. They have not
Hmm.
said that. So they're holding on to that for some reason. I don't know what the reason is, but
Hmm.
unfortunately, that was a bit much as far as the shoplifting part.
Hmm.
So to actually see the video, it was more so of hearing the audio that really
Right.
was unfortunate, to hear that. Like, wow, that's something else.
Yeah, and I mean, with that being said, and I think this was not the only shoplifting case that happened recently
Yeah.
that was handled inappropriately. Um, you know, it, first I gotta say something. First I gotta say something. You know,
Okay.
um, because now these people, you know, they're a couple. They had their kids with them. Their aunt was in the next door over. It's a family affair, but they had their kids with them. Now their aunt was in the next store. So if you wanted to do something illegal, you even had the opportunity all to send your kids with your aunt to not put them at some kind of risk. Because, see, I
Hmm.
expect adults to use just baseline common sense and reasoning and to understand that, I mean, the world is an unfair place in a variety of ways, but we know for sure in the context of shoplifting from stores
Uh-huh.
and with the police dealing with us, it is a really unfair place. So,
Yeah.
not only are you at risk I mean, goddamn, you might not have stolen anything. And if you're black in a store, you're at risk by being treated really badly by a store owner who just thinks you stole something, let alone
Yeah.
if you were. That's problem number one. And problem number two then is that if you commit a crime, if you get caught committing a crime, in there, and yes, this is a massive crime. I mean, we could jaywalk and get shot for it, like in our backs and die. This is a crime, and the way that the police could deal with us, we know always could be at risk for guns being drawn, someone getting scared over nothing, and a gun going off. And it really pisses me off when I see these stories, and I'm mad at the cops. Don't get me wrong. We're going to talk about that in a second. I'm not talking about that. It
Mhm.
pisses me off when I see that people take their kids with them to commit crimes in this day and age. I don't care if you think it's petty. I don't care if you've gotten away with it before, which in their case, obviously, they didn't get away with all that much because at least one of them had a bunch of warrants out for their arrest. So, you're not super slick with it. So,
Mhm.
and you're going to bring your kids and put them at risk. And, you can be a single mother and, trying to steal to feed themselves or whatever excuses people want to make up. But their aunt was in the next door over. Send your kids with your aunt and then try to commit your crime and get away with it. You don't, whatever. But no, but you're putting yourself at risk. you
Right.
know it pisses me off when people put their kids at an unnecessary risk in a time where our children are being gunned down in their beds while sleeping, while people are standing there innocently because the cops have raided the wrong house. That is the age that we are living in. So if we're living in that age and you're going to bring your kids with you, and while your kids are with you, you've decided you're going to commit a crime, to me that's unforgivable. Like it really is unforgivable. Now, with that being said, people can try to bring up as many details as they want, that they figured out about this story after the fact. The fact that,
Mhm.
um, because ultimately what the cops knew at the time is there is a doll that was shoplifted, basically. Um, but, what they didn't know is actually the family was trying to shoplift a bunch of toys. It
Mhm.
looks like they got caught by the store owner. They put all this stuff down rather than get arrested. Store owner, I guess, took mercy on their souls because they had the kids. Um, which and this is why the story pissed me off at that point, because I'm like, you brought the kids because you figured they might take mercy on you because you have the kids. And oh, but I have toys for the kids, sob story, like you're willing to risk their life over keeping your ass out of jail. Like, it's a lot, there's a lot easier way to keep your ass out of jail. Don't shoplift anything. But and so y'all didn't know that they tried to steal a bunch of things. Y'all didn't know
Mhm.
they had warrants out for their arrest. Y'all didn't know any of this, okay? What you knew is that this family of four, including two small children and two grown folk, walked out of a store, and what, from a dollar store, so it's not like anything they walked out with was $30,000, right? So what could they possibly have stolen that was such a federal crime that it
Mhm.
involved you needing to react, and with so much anger
Yeah.
and vitriol and violence even.
Yeah.
He's not spread, his legs aren't spread wide enough, so you're gonna kick them apart to the point where the man falls to his knees. Was it necessary? Was it really?
Exactly.
Right, like this is like we got to look at it and recognize that, listen, we can't buy into white conservative media's portrayal of stories. They're very
Mhm.
good at portraying every story in such a way that we are these satanic, devilish criminals,
Okay.
and the poor innocent police, I mean, they barely got away with their lives in every one of these cases, right? Like, I mean, they're really good
Right.
at doing that. And we can't buy into it. That's why listen, y'all are hearing me. I'm calling out the parents too. I am
Mhm.
saying, hey, listen, I'm not calling them violent criminals. I'm saying y'all like to steal shit. Maybe it's because you're
Mhm.
poor. Maybe it's just because you like the thrill. Maybe it's because you're cheap. I don't know, right? But my
Right.
point is that since you have an option, you had an option, you keeping your kids with you was the, I mean, even if you didn't have an option, I don't care. Having your kids with you is irresponsible as hell in this day and age, because you should know that every crime that you commit, no matter how small, in America, you are taking a massive risk, honestly, with your life these days. So you really need to
Yeah.
be looking at it like, if it's worth it, fine. But let's recognize now that I've addressed it. I'm not saying that they were innocent. They're
Mm-hmm.
not innocent. Cool.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Shoplifting. Right? Like, are we serious here? This is how we're gonna treat shoplifters from the dollar store? What do they seem like hardened masterminds that they went to go knock off at the local dollar store? They didn't even like steal. They didn't even ask for cash. They're trying to take some stuff that's $3 for three rolls for 99 cents. Like, come on, come on.
Right.
Right? Do they steal like world class geniuses? Like, come on, come on. And this is where it should illustrate to you that the police are making excuses. You know, they're making excuses. They're when they go, I fear for my life, in every single case and whatever, trying to
Yeah.
get themselves out of the hot water. And you got to recognize something more is going on when they can look at one of ours shoplifting with man, wife, and 2 children with an auntie nearby. And what did you think was going to happen? Like, I'm so confused. What did you think was going to happen that if you hadn't been so violent, cussing, using that kind of not just screaming, but also the language and whatever, and the kicking the father so he falls to his knees, and the kids don't know what the hell happened to daddy and whatever, and that's all happening in front of these very young minds. What did you think was going to happen if you didn't behave that way? What what exactly now? I like that the news report says,
Mm-hmm.
oh, well, the same cop that was cussing then tried to de escalate the situation. Hold on, wait. Are you saying that we should praise the cop who escalated the situation for
Right.
being able to finally calm himself down before he shot someone? We should praise him for that? He shouldn't have lost his job? Wait, what? Like,
That's what it seems like, according to them.
right? Oh my God, I couldn't believe when I read that. I was like, wait. Who escalated the situation? Because so far as I can see, the only person who escalated the situation was the cop. So how are we going to
Mm-hmm.
praise him for calming himself down? It is like us praising one of these YouTubers who's flying off the handle for being able to go, you know what? I'm sorry for raising my voice. I'm sorry. Please continue. Good job, sister. Good job. You calmed down like a champ there. You de-escalated the situation by stopping. Would you really do that? That's what we're supposed to do to police
Okay.
officers? Okay. I'm good for now. I reserve the right to continue commentary later, though, ma'am, on this subject, but I'm good for now.
And we probably will. Yeah, because I'm gonna look into that and see what
Hmm.
happens. I'd like to know, as far as with the lawsuit, what happens. And that
Well,
is all I have. Oh, go ahead.
oh, okay. If that's all we got to say on that one, I'm gonna say, no, I do gotta give kudos. I gotta give kudos to the police chief, because the review board actually suggested that they not be fired, and he did it anyway. So it went to a review. They said, no, come on. Look, no one even died. We're gonna fire this one? That's not fair. How many have we killed and they got to keep their jobs? Come on, it's not fair. So some kid got yelled at. You know what? Who cares, right? And the captain said, no, and decided, no, I'm gonna fire this dude anyway. Not good enough. Not good enough. The review board, and I actually appreciate the fact that they went against the review board's recommendation to save their own, and said, I don't find this acceptable in this case, and actually did the right thing, at least with on that side of things.
Yeah, I agree. And I'll end the show with saying that Popeye's chicken sandwich is making a comeback.
What? Okay. Someone tell me, I did not look into this ridiculous story. I really didn't. I didn't look into the story. Did not look into the story. So was this okay? Was it like, is that it's a limited time thing? Is it that it was just brand new? Like, because I thought maybe it was just brand new, but now you're saying making a comeback. That means it was limited time.
Exactly. And it did such a great number, and there was fights in parking lots, and oh, it was just wonderful that it's making a comeback. Yeah, people lost their mind.
They really
It was just
did.
yeah. So it's making a comeback near you.
Hey now, I'm all for it. I mean, now, for me, I'm never gonna be able to have the chicken. I love Popeye's chicken, but
Mhm.
I'm allergic to it because they use
Oh,
eggs and flour, right? And I'm
oh,
allergic
okay.
to eggs. The flour I can get away with eating and just make my stomach upset for a while, but the eggs I'm actually allergic to. So what I do with Popeye's chicken is I peel the skin off and then eat the
Uh-huh.
chicken underneath, right? Just so I can get a little bit of the spicy essence. I make sure I always get the spicy one. Um, but with the I do, but with the sandwich, normally because there's not skin, you can't really peel the coating off like that as easily. So I'm just gonna have
Ah,
to
okay.
watch other people eat it and then ask them to describe it. It's like the ASMR stuff, like bite into it for me. Is that crunchy? Is that crunchy? Does it feel good? Tell me what you taste, right? I'm gonna have to do all that. Just experience it vicariously.
That's funny.
I mean, the way we go on with food is ridiculous. I can't even say anything though because I was almost in a food coma. I barely woke up for the panel because there was just so many different things I could order from the West Indian food store that I
Mm.
decided I wanted all of it. And then I just like I just like there's barely anything on the menu I did not order, and it was like, oh well, then I'll have like meals for the week, and then
That
I
works.
decided it's right, but I didn't
Hmm.
do it that way. I took a bunch of it from each one of the different, I got the roti and the goat and the oxtail and rice and peas with the oxtail gravy and the rice and peas with the goat gravy. Like I got literally from, oh, and the jerk pork, of course, and I put it all on the plate. And so, well, I'll just eat a little bit of it, just a little bit, and then, I'll wrap this up for later. And then before I knew it, there was so much more gone from the plate that I expected. I mean, how could I help myself? It was so delicious. See, we're ridiculous with food. Like, I can't say I'm better than anyone. That's all I can say. I cannot, when I see that Burger King, they have a comeback of, oh, what's the angry chicken. So there's the angry
Uh-huh.
Whopper, and then there's the angry chicken. Okay.
Hmm.
Now the angry Whopper's all right. It's just all right for me. Remember, I can't eat the angry sauce, so I get it without the angry
Okay.
sauce. But the angry chicken to me is life. Okay. The angry chicken is. I will, if I see the sign on, like, we're driving on the highway. Now we have to stop at Burger King. I don't care where we're going, and I don't care how important it is. Like, I need an angry chicken. What if they stop selling it tonight and I didn't know? Right? Like, be serious, right?
You
Like
would
the
be
angry.
angry. Yeah.
I would be angry. That's what I'm saying. You're not angry from eating it. You're angry when you can't. That's what I'm saying. It's like it controls my rage hall. Um, so I can't even. I mean, I'm not gonna act quite the way I saw certain people, certain individuals, carry themselves when it came to fast food.
Mm.
It's fast food, y'all. Like, let's be real. But you know, uh, I can't. I can say that I can understand standing in a line, for something. You waited on that thing, right? You've been waiting, you're excited to try it, whatever. Then you have to go stand in a line like
Right.
forever. Then it's like all of a sudden there's gonna be like limited supply left. I I can see me getting a little bit upset, right? That someone wants to step in front of me, like, no, 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 boss, nah. Mm. See,
Mm-hmm.
normally I'm the one who's gonna. I might. I don't care. But this time, hey, excuse. Where do you think you're going? Oh, I was actually in line with that person. Well, you
No,
shouldn't have stepped out to use the bathroom, buddy.
that's
I
right.
wore an adult diaper. You should have thought ahead. Get to the back of the line.
Get to the back, buddy.
Get to the back of the line with you. Um,
That's right.
right. So I understand. I might be a little touchy myself. I get it. I get it. Um, I do think though that there's kind of like a bottom to the level I can drop. Do you know what I mean? Like
Uh-huh.
the kind of behavior that I can, I guess, exhibit, the ways that I can behave. It's not even that I would behave, it's that I can behave. So I don't know. I just think that everyone was at their worst. Would I be at my worst? Probably, but I think my bottom is a little bit higher than some people's. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like I don't want to sit there and be like I'm better than everyone else. No, because there's certain ways that I wouldn't be able to act, or I don't act, or I don't react. So how am I going to sit there and make myself so much better
Mm-hmm.
than people who regularly react some way? You want to get mad at the training that we're putting into society that makes certain behaviors like not only regular but like praised on things like World Star Hip Hop. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
What were you expecting? Like,
Right. You be safe, Elise. But yeah, that's the end of our show. I'm gonna keep them hour and a half or under, so that way people can watch the playback. Because I know how people time is. Um, I'm on both sides of the YouTube, so I do understand and I know kind of how it goes. But thank you,
mm,
Ruby, for your participation. And ladies, when you guys come in and you want to join the chat, I will have, or the panel rather, I'll have the link in here. You can join if you have time. I understand about Saturdays, but for right now, it's going to be 6 p.m. until you all say something different. But right now, we're going to start at 6, and we'll see what happens as time go on. And thank you, everyone, for participating in the chat room. Thanks for coming through. Thank you, Zero, for your moderation. I appreciate it. And hello, and see you later, Craig. We're ending the show now.
just in
Much
time to
love
say
to you.
goodbye.
Right. Much love to you, though.
Hey, Greg.
So I will see you guys next week, and you have a good week.
Yes, everyone. Cheers, y'all.
Cheers and peace.
Mm-hmm.